Hi loves, welcome back to another episode of Monthly Album Faves. Yay! So hopefully you guys will be getting this within the month of May, before May is over, so that at least doesn't feel like I'm late again, like the last time. So just letting you all know. Okay, April. Now here's the thing about April. For the first time in this series, I actually don't have a favorite album this month. Like, I don't actually have like a number one favorite this month that I'm like, damn, I'll go bananas for this album. I'll go coconuts for this album. I'll go an entire fruit salad for this album. I don't know. But they're all just albums that are just kind of there for me. And there are albums that I like, but never really seem to go back to them often enough for me to spend time with them often. Maybe I should for some of them though, because some of these are actually like pretty good. We'll get into those in a bit, but yeah. April is pretty chill and relaxing, you know. It's because it's a month of spring, you know, spring is here. You got a lot of cute spring releases, and of course it smells like downy fabric softener in the air. I don't know, but yeah, it smells like flowers to me. So if you want to get into my favorite albums of April, let's just jump right into it. Here are my favorite albums of April 2022. Let's get it. So the first album I'm going to talk about is Handwritten Letter by Jongdong-won. Now, the way I'm going to go about these albums later on, just so you know, are albums that I want to talk about the least to what I want to talk about the most, I think. I don't really have a set ranking for all of these albums, but I'm just going by the order of what I want to talk about the least versus what I want to talk about the most, or what I'm the most excited to talk about. So, yeah. So first and foremost, we have Jongdong-won. Now, I actually knew about him since last year when he debuted, question mark. I don't know if he debuted last year or not, but he kind of popped into my prominence, my radar last year with the full-length album, which is The Boy Under the Tree or something like that. Something with the boy in the tree. I forgot the album name. I'll put it on the screen right here. Oh, this is the album name. Okay. And it's fine. It's decent, you know. I should say this though, but when it comes to trot music though, I kind of have a iffy relationship with trot music, whereby I mean, it's one of those music scenes where I tune into quite a bit, but then like every single time I do, every single song I listen to just kind of sounds like a similar variation from the last trot song I listened to. There's not really much variety or much variation, diversity going on in the trot scene. They kind of just like recycle like the same 4 chords over and over again with a different hat and call it a day, I guess, you know. I don't know, because the trot scene is actually really damn popular in Korea, so Koreans watching this, please don't put your pitchforks down. Please don't kill me about this, but I'm not really a big fan of the trot scene because of that. Well, even though the music sounds like something that I personally might like because of its very upbeat nature, but I don't know, it just kind of sounds very one note to me, I guess so. But this album in particular though, I'm actually pretty intrigued by it because it's not just a trot album. It's a blend of acoustics and more, I guess you could say, like upbeat J-pop sounding stuff, you know. Some of the songs on the album kind of remind me of J-pop for some reason, and that's the reason why I'm kind of grown really closer to it. And also we have like the Angel's Hair, which is the title track, is a ballad song, but I think it's the trot vocals that kind of add on to the ballad that gives it a much nicer texture and tone to it. See, this is one thing I like about the trot singing, it's the vocals. The vocals are just so unique. Even though they're kind of just like singing on top like the same 4 chords over and over again, you know, at least you can give it to the vocals, you know. The vocals are actually kind of kick-ass, you know. They have a very unique texture that is very raspy yet almost upbeat and spirits lifting at the same time, that is very, makes you happy, you know. And I think one of the other artists that does like trot ballads very well, I think, is Youngtak last year when he released Comforter. That was in my top 30 songs of last year, and I couldn't even believe it either, but I think it's because his trot vocals just kind of amplify the sentimental value of the ballad a lot more, which is what Jongdong-won is doing here in this album at the moment, you know. I don't know, but something about this album just makes me uplifted and happy, you know. It's the like heartwarming energy mixed with like a little bit of like a J-pop, like spirit lifting energy to it. I think it accounts for a really decently good album, I would say. Something memorable in my head. So next we have Blurry Dream by Kyuhyuk. Kyuhyuk is also a name that I've heard of since last year, I think, and he also popped into my radar last year. Kyuhyuk's music is good, I would say. His music is pretty much on the more waily, cloud rappy, autotune, punk/punk rock kind of hybrid genre that I think a lot of the K-hip hop scene is pretty much adapting to these days. And I feel like it's kind of rose into prominence since last year with a lot of the artists doing like rock/hip hop hybrid autotune cloud rap songs. Like Paketo is one of the artists that does this, you know. I think that's off the top of my head. Paketo is the one that does it a lot, you know. But Kyuhyuk is also one of those names that does it a lot actually, and I do like a handful of songs from last year, but this entire album, Blurry Dream, is the best culmination of his signature style and sound to date, in the sense that it really sounds polished and refined. I like the very Dark Knight energy mixed with like an angsty teenager vibe, you know. Something about this album also reminds me of the Sky Maker album from February, in the sense it also felt like a personal diary entry, like an angsty teenager's diary entry in a way that is venting out their frustrations in a way, but this song felt a lot more pensive and sentimental in a way. I like the blend of rock and hip-hop influences in it. I think that is probably the best execution of the blend of genres, you know. A lot of the times when it comes to the blend of rock and hip-hop, you know, it kind of also just felt one note throughout the entire song and not much variation or variety within the hybrid, you know. Even though the attempt is there, I give them that. I'll give them like a poorly drawn star for them, but yeah, something about that just didn't really hit the sweet spot for me. But this album, I would say it hits a sweet spot for me. I really like the blend of diversity in the album. There's a bit of a pensive cloud rap vibe in there. There's a much more angstier cloud rap vibe in there, mixed with the punk rock sounds that are just booming throughout the album. I would say that give this album a listen if you guys like punk rock stuff mixed with a bunch of autotune, I would say. Now you're the summer tribe. 여름이를 달리고파. So next we have Miro by Yuji Song. So he's back for the spring season. So last time we saw him, he was releasing a spring album. It was a nice spring album, I would say. A bit of holes here and there, but I kind of decently like it, you know. But this one is definitely a much stronger execution of the spring genre as well, with a lot more sun into it, a lot more birds chirping into it, you know. I don't know, it just sounds cuter to me. I don't know, per se, you know. Maybe it's because I haven't listened to Jisung in a while. When he released this album, it makes me feel nostalgic in a way, you know. The album is really cute. Bloom as a title track is really good in the sense that it's very, I guess I could say you can call it city pop in a way, because I kind of talked about how he really does city pop decently well in the last album, you know, and I'm really happy to see that he's expanding his sound in this album with the title track of all things, you know. I think he does city pop decently well. Male city pop is indeed a pretty underrated thing, you know. Like, why don't male idols do it a lot more, honestly? Because when it comes to city pop, I only listen to like female soloists do it, but not so much of the guys. Like, that's not really like tapping into the city pop market, you know. So I think Jisung would probably be the forefront when it comes to male city pop sounds in a way. I don't know, only time will tell, but I do think that he can be like the front lines of it, you know. What else? Other songs I really like in there are To Dog, featuring his dog of all things. Okay, when I hear this name Miro, I was like, hey, have I saw that name before? Maybe it's an indie artist, maybe it's like an underground rapper, I don't know. But then I heard like barking noises at the beginning of the song. And then I put two and two together and it's like, oh right, that's his dog. Miro is his dog. Okay, why did I know that he has a dog? I'm sorry, I'm like an uninformed Jisung stan at this point, but like, he has a dog? That's adorable, honestly. And the fact that he involved his dog in the album is stinking cute, honestly. And I think the pun is hidden within the song in the sense that to dog kind of reminds me, it's like an onomatopoeia, Korean onomatopoeia for like a patting on the shoulder kind of sound, you know, like an onomatopoeia of some sort, you know. But it's spelled to dog. So it's actually a song for his dog. What the hell? That's cute. That's fucking cute, oh my god. And then we have Summer Drive featuring Jonghyun, Ji Jonghyun from New East, by the way, the Jonghyun. You guys, not other Jonghyun, this Jonghyun from New East that's featuring on the Jisung song. Holy shit! And the fact that he featured on a Jisung song like shortly after New East disbandment, I really miss New East a lot, TBH. So I heard him on the song and it makes me so happy and I want to cry. And it's very summery, I would say. I feel like we're almost in the summer, we're feeling a summer breeze in the horizon, you know, but this is a genre of spring songs that is just feeling the summer warmth, you know. It's not quite summer in a way that is very buoyant and bouncy, but like it's summer that is still chill and relaxing, like a nice nice drive road trip, you know. Road trip music, I would say. Overall, I do like this album, I would say. It's more memorable than the last one per se, and I do think that there are more highlights and standouts in this album compared to the last one. It's got a nice blend of the spring sounds mixed with the city pop, we have ballads, we have a bright buoyant pop music, we have acoustic stuff. It's a blend of everything. I like that for him. So next we have My by Mion. Okay, I adore this album to bits, you guys. I like this album a lot because it's a romantic album. I love romantic music. If you guys have seen my Cherry review video, you guys would know how much I love romantic music. I like sounds that proclaim, what's that word? I like songs that proclaim love in a very grand way, and I think that this is perfect for Mion. She's such a pretty princess and idol that I don't see her doing any other genre for a solo debut than this genre of music, you know? Like a very acoustic, fresh kind of music. Something reminiscent of Taeyeon's I album when she first debuted, but this one is definitely tailored for Mion's vocals in a way. And I do actually like this album a lot. I'm not one to constantly listen to idols' music a lot. I kind of dip my toes into them every so often, you know? I mean, I do like their music. I don't necessarily like love their music all the time, but when I do like it, I'm like, it's nice music, you know? And the fact that she released this album 1 month after she released I'm a Fucking Tomboy is with Idol is just a big whiplash to me, because like in March, she was like, yeah, I'm a badass bitch, I'm girl bossing it up and punching everybody and smashing windows and shit, you know. And then a month after, she's like, oh yay, it's springtime, let me take you on a drive. And that is so cute though, honestly. The duality, the dichotomy of it all. Anyways, the album is so stinking cute. One of my favorite songs on the album is Softly. I don't know, it's just cute. It's so cute, very cutesy. It makes my heart burst, you know. I like cute stuff, I would say. I think we've established this a bit in this favorite album series that I like cute stuff, and this album is definitely cute. Other songs on the album that I actually like are Rain and Rose. These two are much acoustic goodness, but in a way that it doesn't feel flat or boring. And then we have the title track Drive, which is very another road trip kind of music, you know. It definitely goes on the same table as Jisung's Summer Drive from earlier, you know, kind of like road trip kind of music. And I'm really happy to see that Juni is on this album. Juni is a indie artist that I actually like. He's a solo artist that I like. Y'all should go check him out, and I'm so happy to see him on the album. Charging is a really cute duet, I would say. Overall, this album is cute. I don't know how many times I said this in this review other than it's cute, it's romantic, and it sounds like the color pink, you know? I don't know why, the entire album just sounds very pink to me, you know? Oh baby, I want like how I feel like tongue-tied, trapping like I'm not alone. So next we have Soul by Cell Compilation 1. This is a compilation album by Soul by Cell, which I like to ask, is Soul by Cell like almost like a distributor for like indie artists or something like that? Is it something similar to Cozy Pop or something? Someone please let me know, because I am confused of what their deal is, but I randomly stumbled upon the album on Melon and I'm like, oh, seems cool. Got a lot of cool names in there. I saw June 1. I am pretty familiar with Junwon. I like some of his stuff. I'm also familiar with maybe like one or two other names in there. Off the top of my head, I saw Austin. Okay, and Ocean from the Blue. Okay, these two I know. So these two I might know. The rest I'm not familiar with. Lim N I'm a bit familiar with, I think, because didn't they did the song like several months ago? I forgot, but yeah, there are some familiar names in there, so I'm give it a shot. And I am pretty impressed by this compilation album because it is not like a compilation album in a sense that it is very all over the place. It's not like a playlist in any way, but every single song just kind of fits the theme of it, which is very chill music. It fits the theme very nicely. Each artist just kind of understands the assignment, you know. I like that for them. I like some of the songs on the album, but I had a good time listening to all the tracks on the album simply because I am someone who loves chill music. I like neo soul, I like chill hop, I like lo-fi hip hop, I like R&B, alt R&B, all the chill music. Give me all the chill music. I will eat it up straight away. This album is made for me. This album is made specifically for me. They understood what I like, per se. And I don't really have any specific songs to talk about per se because all the songs just kind of blend together in one homogeneous sound, but it's a sound that I like. I don't blame them for it. I don't know why. I'm kind of easy to please when it comes to this specific genre of music, you know, per se. So yeah, it's a good compilation album in the sense that it feels like a cohesive album. It does feel had a flow to it. It has a nice flow. It doesn't disturb the flow. Nothing about it is really disturbing to me. There's no sudden change in genres here and there. It's nice. I like it. It's very chill, I would say. Give this album a listen if you like chill stuff, you know? 더 멀리 날아가야만 해. 저 시간을 Okay, I had to go and retrieve a package somewhere. So yeah, where was I? Okay, so next we have Where is Blue by Yuji. Now, I think I might have heard about her before. I might have included her in a monthly faves compilation last year, but I never really gave it much thought. I just think that the song is cool and all, and never really went back to listening to the artist a lot more. But when she released Where is Blue, I was a little bit more intrigued than the last time because I like the cool, chill nature of this album, that it felt really serene and almost makes me feel so calming in a way. I like these kinds of albums where it's just very ambient and not ballady in a way, but like it's very chill. It's like ice. It's like putting ice on your forehead kind of feeling, you know. The album is very nice. Some of my favorite songs on the album are, of course, the title track, which is Where is Blue, I think. Yeah, Where is Blue is a really good title track. I like the music video for the title track more than the actual song, to BH, because the music video is definitely my personal cup of tea, is my aesthetic. My favorite songs on the album, I like more on the album are Chasing Stars and Pilot. Those are definitely better executions of the ambient pop that she's going for. The entire album is definitely full of just ballads and ambient pop music. It's just my cup of tea, honestly. And they're not boring per se. I think you need to be in a certain headspace to be able to enjoy this album. It's not for people who are sleepy or wanting to take a nap, you know, because you definitely fall asleep listening to this. But it's the kind of mindset that you want to be in, where you just are feeling, you want to feel a bit of serene vibes, you know. I think this hits better when I was at the beach the other day, because there's like water all over where I was at the beach. There's a lot of water, so just listening to the waves and listening to this album just really gets me in the mood in a bit, you know. So maybe this works this hits better in a certain situation, you know. Can't you see where I live? So next we have Grey Suit by Suho. So Suho is back. EXO's reliable leader is back with a spring album. Love that for him. Love a spring album. More spring albums is welcome in my book. I think he's continue on what he did from the last album, which is his debut from 2020. where he kind of just took the rock ballad sounds and then just flourish it even more. I think it is his signature sound at this point, but in this album he does more than rock ballads per se, he does more than ballads per se, but he does challenge a little bit more genres in the veering in the indie rock path. Of course you have songs like Gray Suit title track and Moment that are just pure ballad songs and rock ballad songs, but you have the more upbeat upbeat rock stuff. For example, Hurdle is my favorite song on the album. It's very indie pop, it's very indie rock sounding. I like it. It reminds me of something like an indie rock band would release. The music video is very indie rock. I don't know, this album definitely felt more, I guess you could say, like raw and real and very underground compared to a lot of SM releases this year, where it definitely a lot more polished in a way. This album, in a sense, while it does have the similar SM polish to it, it does felt a lot more genuine and raw and human than its contemporaries, because the kind of like raw vocal processing on Hurdle and like the emotion that he poured on his ballad songs is very, it really gets my soul in a way. And the genres that he chose for this album definitely suits him the best, and his vocal range, he really knows how to tug your heartstrings and not make it boring, honestly. So kudos to Suho. I think he did a fantastic job with Gray Suit, and I am honestly looking forward to listening to this a lot more. And of course, it's a spring album. How can I be mad at it? So next we have Color by konami. So Eunbi is back. Okay, yes. Finally, I get to talk about another post IZ*ONE member, which is Eunbi. Last time we talked about Yena in January, so now we're talking about Eunbi in this album. I like this album a lot. It's definitely better than her first album. I mean, her first album definitely has some semblance of nostalgia to me, because I listened to this album while I was playing the Google Play Olympic Championships, Doodle Town Championships, that is it. I was playing this game while listening to her debut album. I don't know, it just kind of sets the mood, the ambiance a little bit, you know, while I was trying to complete the missions around Doodle Town. It's nice, you know, it kind of sets the mood, but this album is definitely more well realized than the first one. The first one is fine as a debut album, it's a nice entry. You can see like her carrying over her influences from IZ*ONE into her debut, but it's not necessarily cohesive. This one is very cohesive. I like the blend of genres in this album. I like the very, like, it sounds like water, you know, it sounds like fresh water in a way. This album sounds like fresh water. Yes. There's Glitch, which is very, okay, how do you classify this genre of the song? Is it avant-garde or is it like glitch pop? I like the glitch pop nature of Glitch, you know, I mean, it's called Glitch, you know, why wouldn't it be glitchy? But I mean, I like the glitch pop nature of it. It's very different and unique. The song sounds very standard girl group pop, you know, something you can hear in an IZ*ONE discography, TBH. But what puts it over the top was the dramatized, over the top way, but not too much over the top, just subtle enough to give it a, you know, it gives it a nice kick. And I like the glitchy sounds in the whole entire song. I think it really just puts it over the top. Very experimental. Ooh, experimental. I like it. Like the experimental nature of the Glitch song. The other songs on the album, Colors, Speed of Love, and Off, are Chef's Kiss songs. They're all very like variations of chill R&B or chill acoustic songs, but they serve their purpose in a way that it really contributes to the much more low-key nature of this album while not being too over the top. And I think this might be Eunbi's sound going forward. I think that she can mature the sound a little bit more, maybe add a little bit of glitches here and there. I mean, we already saw it in the title track, but I think she can also try to flourish this like freshwater fairy concept of hers to the next level in subsequent releases. I don't know, maybe this could be her thing, honestly. Something very fresh and clean, you know, like freshly washed clothes. Nice. But I do like this album a lot. I like the concept of it. I like the realization of the concept of this album. And I like the manifestation of it in this album. I think this is a really good, solid release by her. So, yay. I like it.
What dark do you want?
So next we have Afterglow by itzy. Okay, her stage name is very hard to look up on sites, so I have no idea why she decided to choose that name in the first place. It's very hard to look up on YouTube, on any kind of search engine. The SEO of her stage name is just like a solid F. It's very hard to look up her name, but this album is an A+. I like this album a lot. It's very chill. I think we have established that this month is the month of chill albums in a way, so I'm sounding like a broken record at this point, but this album is really chill. I like it. It's also has its moments of grittiness to it. I don't know if this is aesthetically like an aesthetic choice or not, but her vocals are very grittily processed in this album. Like it's a very like crunchy sounding effect that she has, you know, and that really adds on to the easy listening quality of these songs. There's varying natures of chill music in this album. You have like your indie rock, you have ballads, you have R&B, you have blues, you have soul, you have chill hop. Everything is in this album that, while not necessarily like unique on its own, but the production choices that she does in this album, paired by just how much like texture and soul and heartiness is in her voice, is really adding the extra quality, the extra oomph to this album in an otherwise kind of decent album in a way. Also the fact that I like all of these aforementioned genres, I mean, I'll eat it up anyways, but yeah. So not much to say about this album other than the fact that one, her voice is just really hearty and delicious and good, but also two, I just really like this album. I'm heavily biased towards this style of album, so of course I'm gonna like it anyways. So yeah, I do look forward to listening to this more often. I do like how different it is from like the typical chill hop album, like R&B, soul, blues type album of this nature. But yeah, go give Fireworks a listen. That one is a kick-ass song. If you guys want to convincing to listen to this album, Fireworks is a good song. Go listen to that one. But yeah, if you're into more chill hop songs, I say this one might be the album for you, as it is for me.
Wow, I feel like I was just on another planet. Wonder if this is what it's like to be Buster.
When do they stop tuning their instruments and play the music?
That is the music.
So next we have Human the album by Untell. Holy smokes, this man made a return. I'm so happy for it. Oh my god. So last time we saw Untell, it was March of last year, and we saw him saying that he wanted to earn more money so that he can buy chicken nuggets. Which is even more of a mood this year, TBH, honestly. Like, yeah, I would want to earn more money to buy myself chicken nuggets every single month. Heck yeah. And that meme note aside, I didn't really think I would get his other release this soon, you know, because I thought I would be waiting like years for another release, but I'm so happy that he released another album, and this album is definitely much better than the last one. Granted, the last one is really good, honestly. Last album was really good, especially the skit. The skit is really good, honestly. But this album is much stronger. I think this might be my #1 album this month. I don't know. I don't have another one this month. But if I spend more time in it, maybe with another one. Who knows? But I like this album a lot, actually. The songs on the album are much more of the glitchy, industrial, hyperpop nature, with mixed with like a rap nature to it. It's very avant-garde. I think this is also an acquired taste. So this album is not for a faint of heart if you are not into like very heavy, glitchy noises, you know.
What kind of music is it?
It's Trey avant-garde, Binky. It might be way too sophisticated for you.
I don't know. I've been listening to a lot of hyperpop in the last few weeks that when I listen to this kind of songs, I'm not fazed by it anymore. So yeah, I think I kind of just accepted the fact that maybe I'm a noise enjoyer after all, honestly, because I listen to a lot of very gritty avant-garde hyperpop music these days, you know. I mean, the music that for fuck's sake, last month I liked The Blood, which is the scariest of hyperpop I ever listened to in my life, so that should say something. Also, my alts recently have released songs of like the industrial nature, for example, like Hansei with Takeover and Cravity with Gas Pedals, so clearly I'm kind of acquiring a taste for this hyperpop thing, you know, and I like it because this is what I envision the fourth generation of K-pop to sound like, which is different from the second and third gens, but just enough difference that it really felt like they're pushing the boundaries of what pop should sound like, rather than like a rehash of the third generation with like more pots and pans, honestly. And that should be the way that we should take the fourth generation moving forward, you know, innovation in pop music and deconstructing it in a way that you understand each component and then see what further you can take it. And then what other like futuristic elements you can add to it. You can try to experiment with much more technology aspects to it. Technology has become more advanced in a way that you can experiment with much more different intricate sound designs, and you can customize and go crazy with the mixing and mastering of it, you know. Honestly though, this hyperpop is music of the future. It does sound like future in a way. It feels like something people will be listening to in the year 3000 or something, but it is future music. And yeah, I mean of course I will forever love my pure pop music, but maybe like more and more K-pop groups and Korean artists should start incorporating like much more intricate production in their albums. I'm seeing like more and more K-pop groups trying to incorporate experimental production in their already established music core, their core sound, which I think I might go into in my May album's favorites, but that's too early to tell. But yeah, I think like more and more K-pop groups are adapting to this change in the music landscape, and I like to see more innovations in the pop genre moving forward, while also not trying to make it seem like, okay, I'm making like a typical song, but then I'm just gonna add in more pots and pans to it, maybe add more banging noises to it, you know, and call it a day. You know, there is an intricate formula to it that is still in the process of doing, but it's not fine-tuned yet. But that's the beauty of it, you know. You experiment and you see what works, and if it works for you, then run with it, I guess. And that is where Human the album gets us to. It's very avant-garde, very like bougie in a way, very stylish. I like it. And also there's a story in this album. I like the flow of story in this album, honestly. We have like Where Are You From? And then it tells a story about people asking him where he's from. I like the little talking anecdotes in the song as well. Very like classy and shit, you know. I feel like I'm on a runway listening to Where Are You From? Also, the featuring this song, Nectar. I recently found her music out, and let me tell you this, I'm so happy to found Nectar and listen to her stuff. Go listen to Fuck Art Like Stands. That is my favorite at the moment. That is a really good hyperpop song if you want to listen to it, but I'm looking forward to listening to more Nectar in the future, and she's a very good addition to Where Are You From, in addition to Untell's very raspy, brash rapping, I would say. Other songs I really like on this album are Please Aha, and what's the other song on the album again? I Am, yes. These two songs are also very like gritty in a way, very industrial, glitch pop kind of sounding, you know. I think that I like his take in K-hip hop, where it's just so experimental and over the top, and I like it. It's not like your typical like trap driven hip hop music or whatever that you hear a lot from a lot of artists these days, or like, you know, with the whole trend of like rock infused hip hop music. But his style of music is just, I don't give a fuck and nothing really matters on earth. Here's a bunch of noises, deal with it, I guess. And I like his philosophy in music making, I guess. This album really exemplifies this philosophy in a way that he doesn't give a fuck. And the last song on the album very much seals that deal. The last song on the album is 10 minutes long and it's just like an ambient white noise. Wait, not white noise. It's an ambient sound from start to finish. Now that is how you do a closing song. Honestly, he's just, yo, I don't give a fuck, bro. Let me do an album full of glitchy noises and then we'll end it with the most ambient song on earth. Love it, honestly. Love it, love it, love it. Of course, granted, in the middle, you do have your much more chill hop songs and much more like soul, neo soul kind of affair, you know. Well, not chill hop, maybe like neo soul, I think. Definitely a nice like interlude in the middle, you know. Like, of course, we have like your in the beginning when people ask him where he's from, very chaotic, then he answers where he's from, and then he's just like wandering throughout town in a much more like romantic neo soul setting, and then suddenly, boom, you're back in the madness again. Love that. Love this narrative, this album. It's good storytelling, peak storytelling, honestly. Yes. So, yeah, I think this album kinda is my favorite, but I do have one more album to get through before we end this video. So, yeah, the last album I'm gonna talk about is So the last album in this video is Roar by Elast. I wouldn't say this is my #1 album this month, but it's definitely the most interesting one, I would say. And it's one that I really want to talk about the most because I've been really much into Elast at the moment, and I think this album really seals it over the top. Granted, last time, the only thing that's keeping me and my interest for Elast together is Dangerous, which is very well produced, very memorable boy group pop music. And honestly, I don't get how more people didn't stream this more, because this Dangerous is really good music. It does experimental music in a way that is very palatable, yet also still pushes the boundaries of what pop music sounds like, and it does also utilizes the rondo form very cleanly and executes it nicely with a lot of different genres that doesn't feel like a bunch of mishmash, hodgepodge of sounds together, but rather something cohesive that contributes to the storytelling of the song. And I think that's the reason why Dangerous still is Elast's best song. And this album, Roar, takes Dangerous's very intricate production and then just like implemented all over this album. Like they took Dangerous in a blender and blend this shit up into fine powder and then sprinkle it all over the song. It's magnificent, honestly. Elast is at their best when they do this kind of production, and that is the basis of one of the title tracks, which is Roar. Wait, not Roar, Creature. Creature is the most interesting of their songs. It's a unique one in their discography. It's not their usual title track affair where it's like very chamber pop, orchestral pop, Prince music in a way, like Dark Dream, Tears of Chaos, and Swear, you know, but it's very different. It's very dark, bass heavy, and experimental. And that's the reason why it became my favorite Elast song in their repertoire. Probably my most favorite of their title tracks by far. It doesn't sound samey in a way, you know. I mean, I do like their other 3 title tracks, you know, but like this song truly felt different in all sense of the word. They are attempting something new and something darker, and I like that for them. I like the dark royalty aesthetic that they're going with this song, Creature. I like the music video, but I love the song even more, honestly. I like the blend of vocals, I think, although I do wish that Lano like goes harder on that song, TBH, like he did in Dangerous and Tears of Chaos, because these are some of his like peak rapping moments for me, and his rapping in this song is it's fine at best, you know, but I do wish he went a bit harder, but that's just my personal nitpick, I guess. But the rest of the elements of this song is very, very good. I like the vocals. The vocal ranges and tones in Elast is very unique, and I like their range of tones in the group, you know. I like the vocals of Baekhyul and Wonhyuk and Jaein. Those 3 members truly like amplifies any Elast song, in my opinion, honestly, yeah. And also Lano, but like only when he goes hard. JK, I like him a lot. He adds a lot of quality to any Elast song still, yeah. He's chef's kiss. Alright, but not to discredit the other members as well, I think they all did a fantastic job in doing what they needed to do to elevate this text even higher, I would say. And then the other songs of the album, we have Nightmare, we have Desire, we have... Yeah, these two songs are definitely my favorite on the album. Desire is very like groovy in a way, you know. I would say that all of their groovy pop songs on the album is very much still dark and desperate in a way. Like it's very like Murder on the Dance Floor aesthetic in a way, so it really fits in with the whole aesthetic of the album a lot more. But Nightmare fits with Creature a lot more because it's very dark and gloomy and like ambient in a way, and it reminds me so much of Victor's Continuous album so much. Also, not Victor's Continuous album also having a song called Nightmare too, which kind of fits in, you know. Then we have like ballads, I think. In the middle of the album, I think they had ballads, I think. Wait, no, not middle. I think like towards the end they had ballads, I think, which they do ballads pretty well, gotta give them that. They're very, because of their royalty, like regality concept, they do ballads in a way that is very like grand spectacles or like very like Shakespearean tragedy kind of ballads, which I really like. Overall, go listen to this album. I think Elast really nails the whole regality concept so much, and if you like royalty concepts to the likes of like Newies or something like that, if you miss Newies like I do, you like Elast, okay? Honestly, they're so good, and I think they are a much more different breed of regality concepts in the sense that they are very much like the rebellious child, the rebellious princess of K-pop, I would say. They're very rebellious in a way, and they're very like almost like devilish also, you know. I do also wish that kind of like tackle the whole devilish prince aesthetic more in the future because that suits them so well. Honestly, get them to do Dangerous 2.0. That's all I ever want, okay? But yeah, Roar is the most memorable album to me by far in the discography by a long shot. Not saying that the other albums are not memorable though, but like this album has like wall-to-wall bangers and really strong production points that really makes this album so strong and memorable. And I will say that this is Elast's best work to date. So what are you waiting for? Stan Elast! Yay! And that's the end of this video. Woo! This video is not as long as other videos of its contemporaries, mainly because I don't really have any albums that I want to heavily talk about like to a lot of extent, you know. I don't know, I just like all these albums kind of, they're just there for me, you know, but not an album that is I go cuckoo over, I'd say, but they're fine. I think if I was chilling one day, I'll give one of these albums another listen, I guess. Okay, but yeah, what about you guys? What are your favorite albums of April? Let me know, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, take care, stay safe, and as always, be excellent to each other. Bye, loves.